Hey everybody, I'm Jack Hammer. As you all know, the 49ers dropped their fourth straight game with a 30-18 loss to Indianapolis Colts here on Sunday night at Levi Stadium. With the loss, San Francisco is now 2-4 on the season. As has been the case throughout this four-game losing streak, the 49ers were done in by an offense that would go cold for long stretches, mental errors on both sides of the ball, and a defense that just gives up chunks of yardage through penalties. Here are the answers to the 5 questions that I asked on Saturday. Starting off with number 1, can the 49ers offensive line spoil the homecoming of DeForest Buckner? The answer to that was no. They held him in check for a little bit, but Buckner would eventually come up with 5 tackles on the night, and he finished it off in perfect style with a sack of Jimmy Garoppolo on the final play of the game. Number 2, would Jimmy Garoppolo make a strong return? The answer to that one is no as well. Garoppolo started strong, hitting his first 2 passes as the 49ers drove down the field for a touchdown on their opening drive of the game. But from that point on, it was a typical up-and-down Jimmy Garoppolo performance. Garoppolo had managed to complete only 3 of his next 10 passes in the first half, and the 49ers offense as a whole ground to a halt in that second quarter, going 3 and out all 5 possessions while gaining a total of 19 yards. The third quarter wasn't much better. The first possession would end with a Garoppolo fumbling after getting hit in the pocket, and then they'd follow that up with another 3 and out for the 49ers offense. In the fourth quarter, with the 49ers trailing 2018, Garoppolo would finally get the passing game going again, hitting 3 straight throws on a 3-play, 70-yard drive, culminating with a 14-yard touchdown pass to Deebo Samuel to pull within 2. The veteran would finish the night 16-27 for 181 yards with 2 interceptions. On those 100 of those completions, a lot of those even came in garbage time as the 49ers were well behind and with short throws, including the second interception. Question number 3 was, can the 49ers offense generate explosive plays? This was the one bright spot of the day for the 49ers, and that was a yes. The San Francisco offense had come into this game averaging a total of 5 explosive plays per game during their first 5 weeks of the season. On Sunday night against Indianapolis, they were able to generate 7 despite the wet and windy conditions at Levi Stadium. Running back Elijah Mitchell would open the game with 3 explosive plays in a row during the 49ers opening possession, with runs of 20 and 14 yards before finishing it off with a 14-yard touchdown run. Mitchell wasn't then there, however. He would start the next 49ers possession off with another explosive run, gaining 12 yards on the first play. The big plays weren't limited to only the running game, though. Jimmy Garoppolo would connect on 3 passes of more than 15 yards on the night. The most impressive stretch of the game came in the fourth quarter with the 49ers trailing 2012. Mentioned this a little bit earlier. Garoppolo opened that possession up by hitting Deebo Samuel for a gain of 29 yards off play action. Followed that up with another nice deep throw of 27 yards to Charlie Warner off of play action as well. And then those 2 completions led to the 14-yard touchdown throw to Deebo Samuel that I mentioned earlier. That one also coming off play action, and that was a nice play between Garoppolo and Samuel, being able to kind of read off each other, Samuel cutting his route short in the middle of the field and Garoppolo hitting him for 6. Really quick, just want to go ahead and say, hey, Amin, how you doing? Good to see you. It is a little cool, but it's not that bad. It's, why am I still at the stadium? Hey, been here since about 2 o'clock this afternoon. Just part of the deal. Just finished up my write-up for the day of the game, and now here kind of giving you guys a breakdown of some of the things that I saw and wrapping up the report for this week. Number 4, can the 49ers defense contain Jonathan Taylor? No. Taylor would cough up the ball in the Colts' first play of the game. Kind of made it seem like the 49ers were going to be able to blow this one open really early. They weren't able to score a touchdown, though. They only get a field goal. But after that early mistake, the second-year running back would dominate, gaining 107 yards on the night, along with a touchdown on only 18 carries. Through the first 6 games this season, Taylor was averaging just under 3 explosive runs per game. On Sunday night against the 49ers, he was able to reach that average with runs of 33, 16, and 10 yards. Taylor's 5-yard touchdown run with 3:45 left to play in the third quarter would give Indianapolis a 20-12 lead and prove to be the game winner. Question number 5, will the 49ers defense get to Carson Wentz? That answer was no as well. For the second season in a row, Wentz would defeat the 49ers on Sunday Night Football using both his arms and his legs. The performance from Wentz wasn't clean. He lost a fumble deep in San Francisco territory to end one drive, and he had a number of passes that would bounce off 49ers defenders. But in the end, he made enough plays to lead his Colts team to victory. Let's look at some of his highlights. On the second possession of the game, Wentz would find Michael Pittman deep down the left sideline for a 57-yard completion over veteran cornerback Josh Norman, who would have been called for pass interference if the pass had been incomplete. 3 plays later, Wentz would connect with tight end Mo Alley Cox for an 11-yard touchdown, again beating Norman, who jumped inside thinking the play was a run. Wentz would strike again late in the first half. With only a minute left to play before halftime, Wentz would fake a handoff and beat the 49ers defense to the goal line for the go-ahead score with his legs and give the Colts a lead that they wouldn't relinquish. It wasn't just those 2 plays, though, from Wentz that doomed the 49ers. Wentz showed no fear in going after the 49ers defense with deep throws down the field, and 3 times the San Francisco secondary helped them out by committing pass interference penalties. While Wentz would throw for only 150 yards in the game, Indianapolis would gain another 97 yards on 3 49ers pass interference calls. That's something that has killed the 49ers defense throughout the season. They rank really high in the amount of yards that they allow per game. They're one of the better teams in the league at that. But a big reason for that is because they give it big chunks of yards through penalties, primarily pass interference calls on deep throws down the field. It happens week in and week out, and it's something that the 49ers have not been able to figure out this year. And one of the interesting parts about this whole thing with the 49ers secondary, they drafted 2 rookies in the draft this year. They took one in the 3rd round, one in the 5th. In tonight's game, both Deommodore Lenoir and Ambry Thomas weren't even active. Instead, the 49ers continue to trot out veterans who, quite frankly, keep making the same mistake week after week after week. Not quite sure when the 49ers are going to figure out that maybe they should just let the young guys play, especially since they spent the money on them, and these veterans that they're bringing in aren't getting the job done either. Let's see if I have any questions really quick before I jump out for the night. Sniper says, absolutely embarrassing on all phases of the game. I'm at a loss for words on this one. Hey, there's going to be a lot more to come from me on this game, but there's just a lot of things that this 49ers team, they're just not a very good football team. That's why they've lost 4 games in a row. They continue making the same mistakes week in, week out. It's not Jimmy Garoppolo didn't play well tonight. There are certain things about his performance that he would need to clean up if he's going to be the quarterback moving forward. But this 49ers offense and this 49ers team goes beyond Jimmy Garoppolo. There was one possession tonight in the first half where they didn't even try to attempt to throw. It was 3 runs in a row, 3 and out. And, yes, Garoppolo missed some throws, but you're not getting help when you have guys that are dropping the ball consistently. Deebo Samuel leads the team in targets this year. He also has dropped about over 10% of his targets. He got another one tonight. There was another ball that was a contested throw along the sideline that was kind of batted. I'm not sure if he, from the press box, it's kind of hard to tell exactly where that ball was. So I can't really put that one, or won't really put that one all on Deebo Samuel as far as that interception there. But there's a lot of things with this 49ers team. Brandon Ayuk is one of the best receivers on the team. They drafted him in the first round. They traded up to pick him in the first round last year. The 49ers threw the ball 27 times tonight. He had 1 target. 1. And that was after drops by Samuel on the screen, a drop by Juwan Jennings on the screen, and then finally they throw the ball to him for a 6-yard gain. What are they doing? Your best wide receiver on the team, probably your best wide receiver in terms of hands, and you're not even throwing him the ball. That's one of the biggest problems that the 49ers have this season. And then Keneal says, how many Deebo drops this year? He has 7. He came into the game with 6. He had 1 for sure that we know of tonight on the screen. That brings him up to 7 on the year. And the other one, I don't know how they're going to roll that one, so we'll just leave that as a not a drop. But he has 7 through 6 games. When your best receiver has 7 drops, that's not something that is going to win you very many ball games. Is Jimmy still better, Jack? I go back and forth on this one. I don't know if Trey Lance would have done better tonight. I know that one of the things that Lance would have done, there was a couple of times where he would have made some plays with his legs that Garoppolo just can't make. And that's part of the problem with Garoppolo. I think he's probably, at times, the better of the 2 quarterbacks. I think he's a little bit more consistent between the 2. It shows up. It showed up in the film last week against Arizona. Tonight, like I said, he played okay, didn't play okay. It was kind of back and forth. It was a typical Garoppolo performance. Garoppolo was like going over here to Great America, jumping on a roller coaster and going up and down. That's what a Jimmy Garoppolo performance is each and every week that he plays. And typically everything's fine because you end up at the end of the ride happy when you're all done with it because you haven't died. That's one of the problems that the 49ers have, though, is that, uh, you know, Garoppolo isn't good enough to overcome drops because he doesn't necessarily get the ball down the field all that well. But hey, tonight when the 49ers actually called some deep shots and he actually took them, he hit them. They don't get how many times have we seen the 49ers get under center with their quarterback, play action, and throw the ball downfield this year? Trying to get it down there. There's a couple that he missed. There was a couple that he hit. The 49ers, obviously, I think he takes some of the heat of this. That's why I put him down as a no for what his numbers were. So, that's Garoppolo in a nutshell. He's like going for a ride over here on the I don't know, is the Demon still over, or they changed the name of that? Maybe it's Top Gun now. I don't know. One of those. Neil says, on a positive note, Jalen Moore didn't seem awful filling in for Trent. No, he didn't. He's played well every time that he's been in the game so far this season. He played decent in the preseason with the starting group when he was in there. I didn't have any doubt that he was going to play okay tonight, that it wasn't going to be a complete flop for him. He's shown well. He's he's one of the few rookies that's actually playing the position that he played in college. And, that's why Aaron Banks isn't starting. He was a left guard throughout his time in college, and they're trying to move him over to the right side. And he's struggling with the changeover. We saw, again, I've mentioned this so many times, but we saw the first-round draft pick, Penei Sewell, in Detroit, struggle with going from the left side at Oregon over to the right side with Detroit. It wasn't until they moved him back that he played a little bit better, So, thinking that you're going to do that with your second-round draft pick and so on and so forth. But no, Jalen Moore played really well tonight, was happy with his performance, and he should be happy with it too. We'll see what happens. Piner says, and you're not wrong, Jack, and if we start Lance next week, I can't trust Kyle to have great play calling. Well, that's part of it. That's part of this whole thing, is if you want to put Trey Lance in the game and you want to call the game that you call tonight, go for it, because that's what you need to do. Doing what they did in Arizona was awful. That's not who Trey Lance really was. I mean, he does some of those things, but in order for Trey Lance to be the quarterback that the 49ers want him to be in the NFL, they need to call a game like tonight. Hopefully it's not a rainy game, and see what the kid can do. I tell you right now, it's going to be up and down. He's probably going to complete around 55, maybe 60% of his passes. That's not a whole lot worse than what Garoppolo did tonight in the rain. So we'll see what happens. We'll see. I don't think you're going to see Trey Lance next week. Trey Lance wasn't even on the field today warming up at any point before the game. Obviously, some of that probably had to do with the rain. So we'll see what happens there. Jack, will we make any offers before the trade deadline? The 49ers aren't going to be buyers. I don't see why the 49ers would want to be buyers at the trade deadline. That's going to come up the Tuesday after the Chicago game. Quite frankly, the 49ers, they don't have draft picks to trade. If they're going to get anything, they might be able to get rid of Garoppolo or something like that. But beyond that, I don't know if the 49ers really have anything that anybody's going to want to trade. We'll see. Gav asks if Kyle Shanahan has any trade value. He probably has the most trade value of anything that the 49ers have right now, quite frankly. And, I think he's thought of a lot better around the league than I think of him, but we'll leave it at that. Let's see what else is there. Yep. Drummond says, Kyle already said after the game tonight if Jimmy is healthy, he's going to start. That's right. Grant Cohen asked him that question in the press conference, and that was his response. He doesn't see any reason not to. We'll see what happens. That's a decision that's looming down the road. At 2-4, the 49ers, if they can go into Chicago next week and somehow beat the Bears, that puts them at 3-4. Maybe they find their way back to 500 after that. Who knows? This is supposed to be the easy stretch of the schedule. I told you guys coming into this game that Indianapolis had kind of turned things around. They played okay. The 49ers let them hang around throughout the first half, not able to do anything on offense. Carson Wentz, for all of his warts, is similar to Garoppolo in that he just finds ways to win and make plays, except for he's got the legs to do it as well. And that 17-yard scramble on 2nd and 15 was a killer tonight for the 49ers. So That's it. I'm going to call it a night. I'm going to get on the road and see if I can beat this. Luckily, the rain's kind of slow. The rain's here a little bit, but the wind that was really bad on the way into the game tonight has died down, so it shouldn't be too bad driving home. But I just want to say thank you to everybody that jumped on. We have a lot of people here at 11 o'clock at night to watch me talk about the 49ers game, and I appreciate all of you for doing that. Look forward to getting back with you guys again probably tomorrow, and definitely we'll be on for the film breakdown either on Tuesday or Wednesday of this week. So keep an eye on the channel. Thank you all for joining. Like Pinor says here, hit that like button, subscribe, do all those kind of things, and comment and keep me on my toes and tell me everything that I'm missing so that I can make sure that I get the everything right for you guys moving forward. So have a great night, everybody, and talk to you soon.